morning. Yeah, it's past midnight a little bit, 12:22 a.m. And I actually had written a blurb yesterday morning, and I had the opportunity to talk to my lawyer friend. Anyway, the title, I put a different title and a different blurb in. I'll save the one that I had written yesterday morning for the next day. This will be the one for Sunday. I finally talked with my lawyer friend again, is the title. She was in the hospital with her significant other for about 2 weeks, and I was not able to reach her. Finally, she called me, needing more money for the appeal. However, I did not get her message on Friday because my cell phone ran out of minutes. She was able to reach my daughter and get my son's landline phone number. We talked Saturday morning. She has talked with the appeal court and the local court, made a terrible error in taking my home. That's what I was told. Meanwhile, I have no home of my own, just a place to stay temporarily. Now I know these courts are total fraud, committing felonies and capital crimes every day, ever increasing since the Civil War, where they undermine constitutional provisions established by real law. That's a century and a half of rule by a criminal class of bankers, bar attorneys, and other co-conspirators. Here's a link where you can check the law for yourself, if you even care. I provide that link, called Supreme Court Case, WordPress.com. May the end of this fraud come quickly. It's time for these charlatans to repent. Indeed, I didn't realize that my cell phone was out of minutes when she was trying to reach me on Friday, and I did not get to talk to her till yesterday morning when she finally reached me here at my son's house. And I had to go back and put minutes. I have to remember each month to go back and put minutes on my cell phone. It's not. They try to do it or set it up automatically, but it doesn't work that way. But in any case, it was interesting because she also talked to the local court, and they said, well, if I'd have to pay $400 more to file another appeal. But then she called with the appeal court and says, no, it was the appeal. Your appeal original appeal is not over. It was just kicked back to the lower court to give them the opportunity to make a correction. And the correction that they made is they stole my home, and then that is total fraud. I mean, there was actually a process in the system. In the system, there was a process ongoing, and they overrode and went beyond what they were allowed and supposed to do. The judge was again in error. We had filed a complaint against the very judge who stole my home and had all my property confiscated and destroyed. That we were not able to get out of there in the few hours that they gave us to move things out of the house. Again, I had a lot of stuff in the house from Dr. Mary, more than I was able to accomplish, and I filled up two garages, two subcompact size car garages with things that I had, including my library and things like that. But folks, we need to understand something very, very, very clearly. We need to understand that the United States of America has a legitimate constitution. That constitution has not been followed since the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln, as good as he might have been in many fronts, was the first attorney to become president of the United States. Attorneys were not allowed under the original amendment, and the article, the Supreme Court Case WordPress, goes back and traces how that actually became law. That original 13th Amendment became law that forbid the taking or the holding of public office, any public office, by someone that was aligned with a foreign power. And the bar Bar Association is the British accredited registry, and it owes its allegiance to a foreign power, not to the United States. It is an illegal takeover of a whole nation. And it's not just the 13th Amendment, because there's other things, other provisions in the Constitution that refer to the same thing about people holding titles of nobility. And I forgot there was another major law that was pointed out in the article, again, the Supreme Court case. So there are people all over the country in the United States standing up to the criminality of this corrupt system run by attorneys for their own benefit and financed by an international banking cartel that has been trying to set up their own brand of a new world order, which is a total domination of the world by a criminal class of people who have a plan to just simply run roughshod over the rights of people. They want to bring down the population of the planet to a manageable 500, half a billion people, 500,000 people, 500 million people, not thousand. And that's their idea. That's their plan. That's what they want to implement. But it isn't going to happen because people are waking up all over. The handwriting is on the wall, and these courts are not going to get away with the stuff that they've gotten away with, because they're not courts. They're not courts of law. They are criminal operations run by people who have no business doing what they've been doing for such a long time. Again, since not the 20th century, but since the 19th century, second half of the 19th century is when they started taking over and overrunning and overturning the original 13th Amendment that forbid them from even holding dog catcher, any public office, because you can't take an allegiance to a foreign government. And we've got people in the United States that hold positions of, quote, authority, power, that have dual citizenship. They have their citizens of the United States and Israel. You can't do that. You can't do that under constitutional law in the United States of America under the original Constitution. They have totally acted illegally, unlawfully, and everything they've done has been fraud against the American people and has caused havoc and pain for the people of the entire planet, because Washington, D.C. not only took over the United States unlawfully, it became the war power against the whole world. I mean, they were starting wars and killing people all over the world that were trying to stand up for the right and have an exercise of freedom for themselves. I mean, we're talking about a criminal, evil, demonic class of individuals at the very highest levels of human culture that have been operating this scam against the human race for a very long time now. Now, of course, it went back even further than that, but we're talking about them in the modern era. Again, the 19th, 20th centuries, and now the 21st century. This is what needs to be overcome, and this is what we're addressing. It's one of the things that I'm addressing anyway. I don't know that my lawyer friend is wanting to address all these issues. I think she's being educated as to the scope, because she was educated in the current system. She didn't have a lot of the things that we know, that since we've been studying some of these things for some time. I know I have. But anyway, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, as someone said one time. And we'll see how this thing spins and plays out. Now again, my papers are being filed pro se. She's not representing me as an attorney. She's just helping me as a friend. Anyway, thank you for listening. And